Hello and welcome back everyone to another episode on location here. I'm at Crains Nature Park, and it's a nice little partially developed. I mean, it has some shelters, has some benches, like a typical park or whatever would have here. But the main draw is the bodies of water just like this, and it means that the woodlands and the tree lines there kind of staggered throughout. Right beside there means that this place is actually a pretty good kind of magnet or hotspot for birding. So I feel like that's what I'm going to do today. Really, at a glance here, I just got here a little bit ago and just kind of did some pre-scouting. Then I figured, hey, I might want to get the camera in case something good happens. And it did, because we're seeing some migratory bird species that are coming in. And like I said just a second ago, I'm seeing them. You can walk right along this trail here. I'll show you in a moment. And I saw quite a few of them. So I'm thinking, check out the rest of the park. I'm on the north side, parked at the north lot over here, and I'm going to be going pretty much that way, southward, and to the south lot, or the parking lot that's down there. But I'm just checking out the trails right now. It's not too big of a park, not too terribly big, but I'm thinking might get a decent bird shot or two in for the day, and I'll make a nice little kind of vlog video, of course, as always. So the lighting, as you can tell, it's midday. That just happens to be the time I showed up here. So in terms of photography, it's not the best light, not even for wildlife here, but I'm hoping for the best, and maybe we can get one in a decent kind of more diffused kind of lighting situation, maybe like a shadowed area, but not too much where it's underexposed, because I'm not using any kind of stabilization besides my hands. No tripod or monopod is with me right now, so just traveling fairly light. Everything's just kind of attached to my body. As you can tell, binoculars, telephoto lens, this double kind of chest harness, really, strap. And yeah, we're gonna see really what we can get into today, at least in a few hours, maybe here. And I'm hoping there's some water birds, maybe. I don't know. Nothing really out here. I see a Canada goose over. Looks like he's hanging out right over there. But other than that, I already kind of scanned out way out far to the edges even. I didn't see too much of anything of notable interest, or any birds at all really, besides that Canada goose I just saw now. But I'm thinking definitely maybe some very early warblers. If we're lucky, I can get a photo or two of them. That'd be very nice. Maybe even some woodpeckers. I've seen two red-bellied woodpeckers pecking and drilling into a hole. So I'm thinking that might be something nice. It was actually just right over here behind me. So I might check that out here in a moment. And then other than that, hopefully some water birds. But yeah, I think I'm going to stick to smaller songbirds today. But anyways, this place looks really promising, so we will see. Alrighty everyone, so it's been fairly productive actually. I've been really surprised. Got my first warbler of the spring season here. It would be yellow rumped or Mrytle warbler. Got some, actually, not only did I see it, but I did get some keeper photos as well. So really nice, I think at least professional looking ones of it. Not too cropped or zoomed in, but I could always crop it obviously in post. But some nice, really shallow depth of field backgrounds. Really nice cleaned up kind of backgrounds where the only thing in focus is the foreground, where I focus point on the bird itself where it was perched. So yeah, very awesome to get a decent set of those images. Other than that, I did actually, let me backpedal a little bit. To start off the day, I did get the red-bellied check back or whatever, the woodpecker, and he was still at the cavity. Looks like just, you know, hammering, drilling away for looks like insects, I'm guessing, based on the time of year. So I took a few shots of that. It was okay. Just merely documented for the video here. That's pretty much the only reason I really took him, just because he was so far up, you know, high up in the tree there. Typically you want to photograph smaller kind of birds like that at eye level. You know, those make the best images. And likewise, the yellow rumped ones were actually, in contrast, were actually put at eye level there, and they weren't too far away. Managed to snag those shots with a 600mm zoomed all the way out, and I think they look really good already. So there's a nice pastoral kind of look to those images. At least it has some kind of cooler colors, some light blues of the water that was actually just behind it, because they were perched on some smaller trees that were situated right off of that little pond over there. So yeah, that was a pretty awesome moment. Finally got, you know, a few of those warblers out in the open, because I've been seeing them going along the tree lines and in the thick brush, and it's just been really difficult. But yeah, I was really hoping when I got here I'd get started on warblers and migrant season. So fortunately it did happen here, and I'm pretty glad about that. So other than that, not too much else. I attempted a few shots at some robins. Didn't really go over too well. I did get a Canada goose shot, which I really don't look for anymore, just because I have such a diverse and large enough portfolio of them. But the only reason I really attempted this one was simply because it had a nice clean reflection of its, you know, just the entire body, especially the head. So, and it was fairly close up. Yeah, so that's the only reason I really attempted that shot. It turned out okay. There was some obscured, kind of out of focus branches, but I mean, in a way, those foreground branches kind of framed, which, I mean, you'll see in the image, it kind of framed the goose there. So I kind of like them. I don't know, they're not too bad. But definitely so far the find of the day has been what I would consider a lesser common species, the yellow rumped warbler. So at least something that's a little more sought after. It's a pretty common warbler here in the Buckeye State, but and it's also one that happens to be one of the first arriving ones, like it did today. So very happy about that. And so from here, I'm gonna check out, see if there's any other warblers that may be around. I'm hoping, or some water thrush, or even potentially a screech owl. You never know. I guess there's one that nests here as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm still in the north lot over here, so I haven't even scratched the surface. I'm not even sure. To be quite honest, I researched most of these locations fairly extensively before I, you know, arrive to them. I see pictures online. I check out trail maps, where the sun's position would be certain times of day for landscapes, eBird reports for different kinds of birds you see here. Like I do my research fairly well, I think, for what it's worth, especially for the newer locations that I'm unfamiliar with. But Crains here, I honestly didn't, maybe out of laziness, I'm not sure, but I really didn't check out too much, because sometimes it leaves, you know, a little bit to be desired if you get your hopes up about certain subjects or seasons that, you know, come into these places and photograph them, and you just kind of get your hopes down. But so I kind of, sometimes every once in a while, it's kind of nice to, it's a little refreshing to have some surprises and just simply come to the location and just see what you can find. Especially in a case like this where I'm doing some wildlife photography and of some wild birds. So yeah, it's enough rambling for me now. I'm going to keep looking around, scanning all these tree lines. Listening especially is important for bird song, especially stuff that's out of the ordinary. And yeah, just keep searching. So I'm hoping we end the day on a good note here, and we get some more keeper photos as well. Alright, it's unfortunately going to conclude today's video here at Crains Run. I really didn't got a lot of bird species. I got about, I think about 17, 18 species or so, which is very nice. It's probably my average for any kind of given location. I'd say it's an average amount for me, and it's a pretty decent amount overall, I think, for the typical sort of amateur casual birder like myself. But yeah, I got also, actually more surprisingly, got a lot of photos of them too, and a lot of them look like decent keepers, and I can't wait to edit them, when I get home and all that. Some highlights I'm thinking of, I saw some birds. There's 3 of them out on the Great Miami there. I couldn't quite identify them, they're way too far away or whatever. They look like they could have been some kind of duck species. At first I thought they were loons, common loons, but I don't know if that's quite the case, so I'm not too sure what they were, but that's okay. That just would have meant another species to beef up the list there, which is okay. But other than that, there's a song sparrow that flew on some chainsawed up log piles, which is pretty nice. Tons of robins, pretty much permeated throughout the entire park. The warbler photos, I think, were the highlight overall, and my favorite kind of find of the day. And I did see quite a few good numbers of the yellow rumped, the Mrytle warblers, which is very nice. And then from there, let me check actually, just make sure I don't forget anything. It's annoying me, I will. There's quite a bit of material, at least in my short time checking out this location. To really base it off, it's a very nice location. I really like it, and the fact that it's situated right next to the Great Miami River just means that, in the scenic bikeway, it just has it definitely lives up to what I said at the beginning of the trip and the visit here, that yeah, it does seem like a really nice kind of hot spot for birding activity. So really pleased with that. Like I said, just got the single song sparrow. I got some very garbage blown out highlight backgrounds, silhouetted Carolina wren photos, but it was right up close when I was along the bikeway, and so I just knew I had to get them. So there's some nice views of that Great Miami River out there, which is pretty nice. I took a lot of shots of that. Saw a ton of turtles sunning out on outstretched logs on the waterways here, and mainly at this pond that's right behind me here, pretty much where I started for the day. Saw tons of turtles. That was very nice, which makes sense for the time of year, because usually in early spring they start coming out and enjoying these nice warm sunny days like this. And yeah, so I think other than that, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did photographing and being out here. This has been Crains Run Nature Park, and until next time, make sure to get out here. Thank you.